Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Good morning.
For those of you that are watching us on live stream, you're not going to recognize me. I don't have my vest on. It's warm out.
Yeah, we're into spring.
Pretty soon I'll be wearing short sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll be wearing shorts, but you won't notice it because I'll be sitting behind the table. And I can't wait.
Yep.
Episode number 148. 148. Wow. We're almost at 150 years old, Peter.
Ouch.
15 costly mistakes real estate investors make. Uh-oh.
Do not do this.
When you think real estate investing, do you feel there are mental blocks stopping or slowing you down? No, that never happened.
No, why would that happen?
No, that doesn't happen in real estate.
Life is like a cartoon.
Maybe you feel that only others can make. Got to read my own writing. Peter, your phone is ringing.
I forgot to shut myself up. Be quiet.
Maybe you feel that only others can make bundles of income. You're not cut out to do it. What do you think, Peter?
Good for us.
Perhaps you think there's a treacherous side of the business that can eat up all your cash and ruin your life if you make a mistake.
Yes.
That was written for you, Peter.
Hey!
In today's cutthroat environment, you need to stay on your toes or you won't make it.
Hey, Bill, I'm 3 for 4.
Okay, whatever that means. Okay, we'll skip right over that. Then out of the blue, someone like you and I, Bill and Pete, Bill the Dealmaker and Pete the Rookie, right? Come along and do amazing things like we're going to do today on today's podcast. Silence.
I'm just letting you read.
And pull back the curtain and reveal some underlying reasons why you are so nervous. What's stopping you? Subconsciously, probably. What do you think, Peter?
Sounds very familiar. I hear that from a lot of people.
Okay. Most important of all, these are discovered in case after case and has been proven by thousands before you. Mm. So this is not just you.
No, you're not alone. You know, I have to tell you something. Just hold your thought there for a second. I'm a teacher. I teach a lot of things over my years. Do you know that every course has the same pitfall for everybody at the same spot? You get to page 22 and people go, yeah, but they get what that, everybody at the same spot.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. So it's not just you. It's not just the book. It's just stuff that happens that people get to sort. Hey, if it was that easy, it'd be boring. Not much of a game. Exactly. If they hand you the football and you went, just tra-la, touchdown. Hey, you want to do it again?
Nah.
There has to be some adventure, but just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. So we're trying to adjust it so your adventure is just enough to know that it was worth it and you didn't come out, you have all your fingers and toes and you come out not too burnt, right?
Exactly.
All right.
So if all this sounds impossible, don't worry about it. Just listen to this episode because we're going to cover some cool stuff. Mm. Okay.
Well, Bill, it can't be impossible. Otherwise, there'd be no houses or buildings anywhere.
Right.
We'd have no place to live. We'd all be in caves still.
And everybody has to start somewhere. I mean, I had all this stuff happen to me in the beginning, too. I still do.
Yeah.
I mean, I still sit in houses and think, I swallow. Goop. I got to give this offer. Goop. And it's like my tongue's in the way and I can't, get it out.
Yeah. Should I, shouldn't I, should I?
I'm embarrassed, or I'm I don't think they're going to do it, or they're going to throw me out of the house, or I'm going to feel like I'm going to rejection or something like that. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, it's just human nature. Right?
Bill, this is almost worse than talking to girls.
You haven't mastered that yet?
Oh, I have, but it's too late. I've got one. I have to stop after. Hey, girls, you have to stop after one. That's why real estate is better. You don't just get one house, one property. Don't you realize that?
You have to stop after one? Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Pam!
My wife's not listening. Don't worry.
Well, we talk.
All right, so here we go. 15, Peter, costly mistakes that real estate investors make. Number one, and you won't believe me when I tell you. Number one, waiting too long to start before you do it.
You know, what I thought you were going to say is not doing a deal, just not doing one. So I wasn't far off from what you were saying, just not doing it. You know, like, oops. I've heard somebody say recently, like, oh, yeah, she did this, she did that, and she's making so much money, she's kicking herself for the one she didn't do, the other one she didn't do, the other one she didn't do, the other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we were in a real estate seminar this past week, and that we heard a lot of those stories. Right? In fact, I had said to you, one of the things that I've noticed is, you know, and all the help that I've gotten through the year, somewhere along the line, I kind of like blew fear. It's like, I just like, it's not, I don't know what happened to it. It like went away. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah. And
we were in this seminar, and we were listening to them talk. And what did I tell you? My fear, if I had any, my fear is that I don't do it.
Oh, that you miss an opportunity.
Yeah, that it's like I didn't try it, and it's not even about the opportunity; it's about the experience. I can tell you, whether you believe me or not, I know you do because you watch it every day. I mean, we started late this morning because I'm answering support tickets.
Yep.
Right. So I can tell you that almost, I lost my train of thought. Every single time I get a student that does their first deal, it's almost like they're reading from the same script. It's like verbatim. It's like they practice it, and they say,
like there's a club and they pass it around. Okay,
yeah.
There's a little card. You go, okay, here, read this.
Read this to Bill when you get your first deal.
And they give it to the next guy.
and it goes something like this.
It's a club. They don't tell you.
I don't care how much I make on this deal. I just want to do it so I know how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what, like, my phone call to you, Bill, will you help me figure this out and how to do this? And I don't care if I make money doing it. If you take it all, you give me some. I just need to know how it works.
Right.
I just need to know how to do it.
Right. And then once you know how to do it, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you know how to do it, then you could do it anytime you want. I mean, I've been doing it 15 years. You think I've been full-time 15 years? I mean, I traveled in those 15 years. Six of those years I traveled for a company doing consulting for automotive repair shops because I owned an automotive repair shop for 27 years. Right? I ran it for 25 years.
Yep.
Right? And I consulted automotive repair shops and was damn good at it. Because only because I had every mistake in the world. I mean, I had 9 tow trucks or 11 tow trucks at one point. I had a used car lot. I had gas, and I had auto repairs. I had every angle covered. And I got to tell you, there were times where I honestly thought that I would just get in a tow truck and drive away and not come back. I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, this is what kind of business that is. Get waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, get pulled out of bed, go up to the highway, and park behind someone. The reason why you park behind them is because you're on the highway and you want all your lights flashing because when somebody's driving at 3 o'clock in the morning, they could be drunk.
Yeah.
Right? You want them to see you. So I parked behind the car so that it was obvious I was there. And I parked like out in the lane a little bit so nobody would run me over. It was an out of gas call. I put gas in the car. Right? I put I closed the cap up on the car and grabbed the gas tank and went back to the truck to put the gas tank on there and turn around. The car was gone.
Oh,
they drove away.
Here's your money for the gas? No,
nothing. Just drove away.
No, they didn't say thank you for getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Just drove away. And after that, I was like, I don't know if this is the type of business for me anymore.
That'll be $50, but you didn't give me the gas yet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. And after that, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, you can't park in front of the car because if you do, then you're not safe. I mean, it was like one of those catch call. But my point is that until you got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and actually had that happen to you, how would you know that would even happen? It never happened to me, so I would know. Now I knew, okay, well, you collect the money first. And you park in front of the car instead of behind the car.
There's a gem of advice in there that policies like how you should operate, what you should and shouldn't do. are often, if you're not smart enough to figure it out in the first place, the reaction to when, oop, that screwed up, okay, next time.
Right.
That's what policies are, really. Like, oop, that didn't work out, so in the future we'll do this. So we got that one solved. And then, like, oops, there's another one.
Right.
But somebody who's been doing something for a long time has that list of shoulda, did, shoulda, woulda.
Right. So,
but then you'll have that.
So waiting too long to start your first deal is always, always, always on the top of the list.
And you don't get that time back.
Yeah, you don't get it back, right? Number 2, not making offers because you think you don't know. So, I mean, I talk about it all the time. I mean, I don't know why anybody listening to this podcast or anybody that knows me or comes to the meetups or anything doesn't just do this. You go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. So it's flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. There's a form on there called a FSBO, for sale by owner. It's an acronym. FSBO, FSBO script. You download that script, right?
Sure.
You go onto Google, you type in for sale by owner and your city, your county, your state, I don't care, and you find 10 for sale by owners. It shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. You call them up and you do the script. I'm telling you, out of 10, if you're a halfway decent reader and can just read the script, you don't even have to be like natural with it. Just read the script. You'll get an appointment. You go out to the house, you walk around the house, you look at the house, you make sure it's something you want to buy. Right?
Yep.
You sit down at the kitchen table or in the living room, and all you have to say, here's the most negotiating tactic you need to know. What would have to happen for me to buy your house today? And if you're listening to this podcast on a recording, you should stop right now, whatever you're doing, pause it, rewind it, and write it down. Because I'm telling you, it took me years and years and years and thousands of appointments to figure that out.
But it sounds so simple.
What would have to happen for me to buy your house today? And then let them make you an offer. And then go back to the Flipping Houses for Rookies page, free stuff. And on the bottom of the free stuff page, there's 7 or 8 videos. I think there's, whatever they are, there's maybe 8 or 9 videos that are 15, 20 minutes apiece. And go in there and figure out, based on what the seller said to you, figure out which deal you should do and just offer them that deal. Now, are you going to be clunky with it? Are you maybe not going to make a deal? Hell yeah, but the experience of doing that is better than any coaching. It's better than anything you can do anywhere. And if you were clever and listened to me, because I'm telling you, being clever is the way you're going to get through all the nonsense in the beginning, is being clever, you would record yourself talking to that person while you're in the house, while you're on the phone. And you don't have to tell them you're recording it. There's nothing. If you're not going to sell the recording or give it to anybody else, there's no problem with doing that. It's a self-enhancement type of thing. You're just going to listen to yourself. And after doing that 2 or 3 times, you will become not bad.
You won't stink as bad.
Right. I mean, that's making an offer. Now, will you sit in 1 out of 5 houses like I do and buy a house? I mean, it's kind of pitiful lately, Peter, because it's not even 1 out of 5. It's 1-on-1. At this particular point, I'm kind of like, it's kind of weird because I didn't know that this could happen. I've got like 5 or 6 deals, and I'm kind of like got my head hanging low because it's like I got to do all this work, and it's like I got to go raise money, and I'm just like, do I really want to do that?
It's a lot all at once.
Yeah. You know, I have other things, and I'm trying to go on vacation in a couple weeks. And I am going on vacation. I haven't been on vacation in 3 years, so I'm unplugged. I'm not even doing my coaching calls. And you know, for me, that's unusual. That's the first time in 3 years I've not done a coaching call because of me.
Yeah.
So I am going away. I will be bringing cigars, and I will be bringing my fishing pole, and I will be bringing my shorts and flip-flops. And you will not see Bill that week.
So, and when you read, are you reading just your novels? Are you going to be reading some of the technical stuff that we read?
No, I have a couple books. Some educational books. It's funny you say that because for 2 days I've been because I will read 1 or 2 books when I'm gone. And for 2 days I'm thinking, my father-in-law bought me. I'm a big Lee Child's reader, with Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
I've read all of his books probably 3 times.
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, and there was a new one that just came out, and I said to my father-in-law when he was here at Christmas time, I'm like, the new Jack Reacher book's out, but it's like $16 for hardcover. I'm not paying $16. I gotta wait till it comes out on on softback for $9.
Yep.
And he's like, really? I'm like, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's at Costco's. It's $16.99 or something like that. I'm like, so he's half senile anyways, and he made my mother-in-law bring him to the bookstore, and he went and bought it for $16 and gave it to me for Christmas. It was like 3 or 4 days after Christmas. Yep. So, but I'm one of those.
You still haven't read it.
And
you have been busy.
Yeah,
oh,
I
Jesus.
read it. Usually I read those in between. But anyways,
Just
making
to
offers.
interject real quick, there will be a podcast out that week. We are pre-recording a podcast, so there will be a podcast that week.
Oh, wait a minute.
You're not missing out.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Emma. No. You can't do that. You can't do that. Not only are we doing a podcast, but we are doing my podcast. This is a personal podcast for me because we actually got Ben Settle on the line, who is somebody I admire very much and have learned from very much. And we pre-recorded a podcast with him. It's a phone call, so it's a little. Emma's worried about the recording, but you guys get through it. It's not cracking like the ones we did when we first started.
No, I heard it. It's okay. It's good. It's fine.
Ones we first started were horrible. We should take the first 25 of our podcast down because they're just disgusting. But we gave away a lot of stuff. Anyways, let's get back to the list. So that podcast, the podcast while I'm gone is which actually is 2 podcasts from now, right? Yeah, so it'd be 2. Yeah, so it'd be 150, I think it is. Podcast 150, yeah. Okay, so not making offers, that's number 2. Okay, so I think we kind of got sidetracked. I got sidetracked there, but
you got excited.
I could honestly go on for the next hour about not making offers.
Yeah, and my 2 cents on that is I would go into it thinking, I'm not going to get this. Let me just see how it works. Don't set your hopes high because then you're disappointed. Oh, I didn't get one. Well, it takes a little bit of work, but you might get lucky because sometimes, right. I mean, the first one I did by myself, the guy said, yes. I mean, I did 2 way back by myself, the first 2. One didn't work out so hot. Right. The other one was fine. 1 for 2. I mean, that's insane, Right. So if you get lucky, you get lucky. But you have to practice like for the really good ones. So just take reasonable ones and just try it.
Right.
Learn the ropes.
Same thing with calling for sale by owners.
Yeah.
95% of them are suspects anyways.
Yeah.
So just call and get used to it.
Just you do it for the practice. Call people in state, the other half of the country just to practice. And if you get a good one, we'll find somebody in the area to take it.
Totally. All right, number 3. Mm-hmm. Not having a plan or an idea of an exit strategy when you're trying to buy.
Oh.
So one of the biggest things I run into with my personal coaching clients is the exit strategy, right? So what makes me unique to the investing arena, because a lot of the stuff that I talk about, I've learned from other people, and I credit them whenever I know that it's them, or I remember that it's them. I mean, obviously things sneak through because, I've spent tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars on my education in the beginning, and still do. Mm-hmm. Right? We're going through some of that right now, right? I mean, it's never enough, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is that what makes me unique is my loan to value ratio and my 7 offers. So what we do is we break it down based on how much equity the person has in the house on which offer you should give first. And that's what makes me unique to the real estate investing creative market. Mm-hmm. Or let me do that again. The creative financing real estate investing market, right?
Sure.
So again, if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff, those videos are there. You can see them. The loan to value ratio is there. I explain the thing entirely step by step.
Yep. But people got to realize how big that is. Imagine trying to make a decision on what to do with any big business plan, right? And not having them broken down into the possibilities. But then imagine, so you don't know what to do with it. What should I do? Should I try this? Should I try that? Imagine having something that tells you have 7 buckets. Put them in the 7 buckets and see which one it fits in. Right. And there goes 1/7 of or 6/7 of your worries of what I should do. And and it's broken down to, here's your choice. This one, maybe that one, maybe that one. So it's organized so your thoughts don't go like crazy in your head.
That's exactly right. If you go back to episode number 146, which is how do I finance my first real estate deal? I actually talk about, or we talk about in that podcast. It's a great podcast. You should listen to it. We talk about the first decision you have to make when you're talking to a seller. Is it A or is it B? Mm-hmm. So do they want all their cash now, or are they willing to take payments until we can pay them off? Mm-hmm. Right? So those are your two questions you need to choose first. Mm-hmm. Okay. Once you do that, then your exit strategy has a path. And then at that point, you can decide what your exit strategy is going to be. And the reason why those two questions are so important is exactly for the exit strategy. Because like we have a house that we're buying right now as a rehab. We're paying cash for it.
Yep.
Right? Literally just writing checks for it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we know our exit strategy because we're going to buy the house. We're going to add value by fixing it up. Right?
Yep. And
then sell it. So we know that we are going to buy from a realtor. Actually, we bought from the homeowner, but I didn't mean to say that. We're going to sell with a realtor is what I meant to say. But we're going to deal with contractors. We're going to deal with some private money. We're going to be paying interest. We're going to, holding costs. It's a whole pattern of how that house is treated. Now, I have another house that I'm buying simultaneously where the guy actually owes $80,000 on a $270,000 house, agreed to sell to me for $225,000 in a completely beautiful house, beautiful neighborhood, right? Because when I did the cost to sell worksheet with him, he realized that's how much he was really going to get. He was trying to sell for $250,000. Mm-hmm. So I think I could sell for $270,000 because it's a terms purchase, but $250,000, $255,000 was a number, and when we did the cost to sell worksheet with him, it brought it down to $225,000. So I'm paying full retail for the house.
Yeah.
Because if he were to go sell it with the conventional market, then that's what would happen, right?
Yeah. This is just absolutely crazy that people only try to sell the house for the overall number,
right.
The gross number, but they don't get the gross number.
Right.
So is that important? No. You might get $1 out of the sale if you owe a lot of money and needs or you might get a lot of it. So what's important? The overall number or what you're walking away
profit,
with?
Yeah.
And no one talks about that. You know why? Because no one can figure that part out.
Right.
Go try to find that out when you sell your house. What am I going to do? Oh, well, 6% for the realtor. No, it's not. The whole story needs to be approached. And when you tell them, I tell them, our listeners tell them that, they go, oh, that's what it is. I'm glad I know that. And now you have a real number to work with.
Exactly. So the important thing is that he owes $80,000. He's got a divorce. He's been married. I mean, it's a sad story. He's been married a long time, and the wife came and said she found her soulmate. Blah blah blah. So we actually went and got him a mortgage. So now he's getting a mortgage, and I'm actually buying the house subject to.
Yeah.
Which means I'm taking over the mortgage payments. The difference is I have some say on what the mortgage payments are going to be and the terms of the mortgage. So we're like working together on getting the terms of the mortgage. So once I assume the mortgage or take over the mortgage, not really assuming it, but something very similar, once we do that, then the terms are favorable for me.
Yep.
Okay.
And the mortgage is still in his name.
Right. But the point is that I chose the exit strategy. Now that house has an exit strategy of a rent to own. So I'll put somebody in there. They'll give me money now. They'll give me money monthly. They'll give me money later. So how you pay for the house determines the exit strategy. So it's not necessarily your choice on what the exit strategy is. But if you pay attention to the math and you pay attention to what the seller needs and wants, it will preset your plan and your exit strategy. You just need to know the tripwires or the indicators of what those things are on how you're going to march forward for an exit strategy. And once you understand those, which we give to you for free on the Flipping Houses for Rookies .com/free stuff, and you go watch the videos, we give those to you for free.
Right.
Okay.
So quick question, while there's 7 ways to buy, there's really 2 to sell? Either realtor and sell or rent to lease?
So it's either you're selling for cash and you use the realtor system, or we do a rent to own.
So there's only 2 ways to go on that end.
Right.
So it takes the confusion out. I was going to ask you earlier, like, at what point do you decide your exit strategy? Because I don't notice when I do. I just at some point. But as soon as you know if it's cash or
so it's why you do A or B. Are they all cash? Yeah. And if they're all cash, you got to take a discount.
Yep.
Right. And if they're not, then you work on terms.
Right. And the reason you can't do a rent-to-own or lease option on a all-cash purchase is you have to pay the private money back pretty quickly, usually. And you don't have time to lease it over time to pay it back because they want the money soon. That's
so
the range.
Every single day, I send out an email to my email list. And I put stuff like this in there. And today's email was how to negotiate. And I put in there the different ways that we're talking about right now. I made it. It was so eloquent. I don't have it in front of me, otherwise I would read it. But it was very eloquently put. I mean, literally in like a couple paragraphs, it explains all the difference between the A and the B. That's
awesome.
So, which is the point. I mean, obviously, on my emails, at the end of the email, it's like, come to my meetup, or here's a course that pertains to this. I'm not like a heavy like bashing you over the head, try to sales it, but my emails are very informative. And I know so because the email list grows every day. So if you want to get on the email list, I don't even know how to do that, to be honest with you. How do they get on the email list? I think you got it. It's flippinghousesforrookies.com. Just go to contact on the top. That's pretty stupid, huh?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll get back to that. So you can get on the email list because I give a lot of hints and a lot of stuff to go over.
Yeah, but Bill, don't forget, people actually buy houses off all this data.
Oh my God.
Without even being coaching clients a lot.
Support tickets. The reason why is because I usually don't like to talk about the email list on the podcast because I send people a support ticket because it's easier for me to manage. Right? So the support ticket, I mean, it's gotten to a point now with the support tickets where I actually have to 2 or 3 times a day answer support tickets because I do it in the morning, I do it midday, and then I do it at night because I get so many support tickets. And they're not like, what link do I click on? It's more like I have this deal. What do I do? And they give me numbers and like everything.
Get help.
So it's flippinghousesforrookies.com/get help. And that'll put you on the email list. So it's /get help. Okay. All right, let's keep moving because and I knew this was going to happen. The first couple we're going to spend a lot of time on because they're biggies.
Yeah.
But as we go, we'll spend less time on it.
Sure.
Right. So number 4, not getting things in writing, especially repairs and other agreements. Too many times you think you have a deal, right, and you don't. I could tell you, because we've been talking about negotiating and the coaching client and the emails and all that stuff, one of the most valuable things you can do in negotiation is acknowledge somebody when they talk to you. Right? And the best way to acknowledge somebody is to repeat what they say. So like tell me like how much you're willing to accept for a house.
Well,
we'll role play it.
I think $154,000.
Okay, Pete. So if I were to give you $154,000, would you sell to me?
Yeah.
So do you feel like I got your communication?
Yeah, but I like the way you said it, though, because from what I know about communicating, you don't want to repeat exactly what the person says. It's like, I just said that. Why are you saying it? Like you say, like, I heard you, I understand, or something, or use it that way. So that was perfect, because you actually used it to do the next thought,
right?
Not just throw it back at the guy.
So my point is that even though you have good communication and you're doing all that, at the end of the day, so let's carry on with our conversation. Yeah. So go ahead.
So
if I give you $154,000, would you sell me the house today?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So here's how it works. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh.
What do you think?
Well, I was hoping to get my money right away.
Okay. So are you ready to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to do. And I would sit down with them and I would flip over I have which I haven't been carrying lately. I need to start carrying more. A credibility pack, which is what we give to them in the house. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I would draw out on the back of the credibility pack what's going to happen. So I would draw the deal out on paper. Or I would come home and I would write a letter of intent and send it to them. Point is that I'm not going to rely on your memory or my memory. I'm going to put it in writing.
Oh, no.
This especially is most important with contractors. Because contractors have short-term memory.
I thought it was wishful thinking memory.
Yeah, some of that. Too.
Didn't you say?
Okay, so number 4 is you don't get things in writing. Put everything in writing. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I know you're much better at this than I am, especially when you had tenant trouble. You get everything by text.
I brought the paperwork from the little litigation thing that I got. Was beautiful. Yeah, I went to it was not a court, but it was like a housing hearing type thing, with like a stack, like 100 pages of text.
Right.
Yeah, when they looked through it, they pulled out the parts that made me look like the good guy,
right.
And the other person like the jerk.
So your son went and found an app.
Yeah.
For you, and he was able to download the text so you can print them.
Yep.
And then you just handed them to the court, and there you go.
A thing of beauty.
Yep. Good.
And also, when you text, be the good guy. Be straight up front.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
Be polite, and just do what you should do.
Yeah.
And act accordingly, so you're not the idiot. It's hard to get in trouble when you're the idiot. You still can when you're not the idiot. But if you're the idiot, it's real easy to get in trouble. Look what you said.
Just don't be misemotional, which means emotions that don't fit into the conversation.
Don't call people names. Don't watch out. Just be businesslike, polite, and just do what you're supposed to do. And you come out the good guy.
Let's move on. Number 5, not screening buyers enough for a lease option purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we do background checks.
Mm-hmm.
So I vet everybody out. I call as many people as I can on their application. I'm looking for any hiccup because I believe the way you do something is the way you do everything.
Right.
So if you slip up once, then there's more. You're just covering it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so background checks are important. We check sex offender. We check legal. We check evictions. We check housing court. And we have a service that does this, and it's and depending on how much you want, it goes between $25 and $50.
Yeah.
So just in fact, as we're on the podcast now, I have a tenant going in one of my rents, and Emma's actually working on that as we speak. We have a service that we use, and it took a little bit to get signed up for it, but now we can just go on the website and we're approved, and we just check on everybody. Okay.
Yep. Easy.
So, more importantly, pre-screening somebody only does one thing, the most important thing. It drags the skeletons out of the closet, and what happens is your tenant knows, or your buyer knows, that you're going to look for the skeletons, and they know that you're not some rinky-dink mom and pop store that they're going to buffalo, or lie to, or tell stories to. That's the most important.
So even moving forward, they know. You set the precedent right there. I check my stuff.
So just a little bit of a side note. This is a little bit of a side note because I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm 99% sure I rented my apartment. And I was thinking, why was it different for Pete and why was it different for Jesse? And I started thinking about it because you guys kind of like went on for a few weeks. Okay, now this is an apartment. This is not a lease option. So it's a little different because a lease option, you're looking for somebody who's got 10 or 15 grand. Okay. But in an apartment, the things that I noticed is I'm doing things that I'm not aware of. They're just natural to me. Like one of the things that I do is I don't go meet a tenant. I don't do that. I do not meet a tenant. I meet several tenants. So I'm like, I will be there between 4:30 and 6. Or between last night it was actually between 5 and 6. It's like show up or get lost.
Oh.
Now, one of the things that I know I have an advantage of is the way I wrote my ad because I allow pets, and I know that in the city that I'm advertising in, that's like hard to find.
Oh.
But I had a pet owner in there before. I didn't change the rugs. It's got a little bit, not much, a little bit of a smell to it. And it's like, why not, instead of replacing the rugs and spending all that money on trying to fix it, what I did is I just fed into it. So what I did is I cleaned the rugs. They look good. It's not horrible, but I just advertised the pet, and not one person's complained about it.
Right. It doesn't pay to get something all cleaned up to have it get all dirtied again.
Right.
So
the point that I'm trying to make here is that by virtue of having more than one person in the apartment, there's competition now.
At the same time.
Yeah, there's competition now. So now what happens is they know they're not the only one and that they could actually work one over on you. And that's a big advantage. So that
sounds like an auction.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And that sets the precedence to now they have to prove to you that they're the one, which is exactly what's happening to me. They have to prove to me. So and the reason I'm bringing that up now is because what happens is the competition's already started. So now the pre-screening, they start telling you, well, when you do the background check, you're going to find this and you're going to find that and you're going to find this.
Oh. Because
they don't want to be kicked out for something stupid, because they know once they become the runner-up, they want to go all the way. If they make it to third base, they want to make a home run.
Right.
So just a side note.
Cool. That's cool.
So
I like the part of having everybody come there at the same time.
Yeah.
You do that in the ad, or what?
Yeah. Well, no, I do that. I do that when I'm making the appointments. They're like, when can I see it? And I'll put between 5 and 6 on this day or that day. That's all I have available.
Okay.
And I make everybody come
slots.
at once. So like last night I was there for an hour, like 5 or 6 people came.
Cool.
And I'm supposed to be there on Friday, but I'm not going to make it that far, because if Emma does this checkout with this guy, I'll just pull the trigger and go.
Good.
I'm not going to wait.
Good.
Because he makes enough money, and blah, 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 blah. If his story checks out like he told me, which, by the way, how do you trust somebody?
You don't.
I do.
Oh, well, if you ask them to do something and then they do it. You ask them to do something else and they do
Their
it.
words match their actions.
Yeah.
So he gave me a bunch of words last night, so now I'm going to go do the background check and make sure that his actions or what he's done in his past match his words. And if they do, then I got a good shot at knowing that he's not totally bullshitting me.
Do we have a way to do income verification besides asking the person? I don't remember that on the one I just did. How do you know if the income's correct?
He gave me the phone number of his boss. I'm going to call him.
Good.
Okay. Good. So we need to move on. So number 5 is not screening buyers enough for lease option purchase. All right. So here's another one. Number 6, we don't have to talk about this a lot because it's self-explanatory. Paying contractors 100% before the job is completed.
Nope.
So pay them on time, but I can tell you the only time you give them a final paycheck or a final check is when the punch list is done. And a punch list is all the things that you walked around and said, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. And when the punch list is complete and you've walked through the house, kind of like a realtor does just before a closing, they do the walkthrough, they call it. You got to do the walkthrough with your contractor and make sure the punch list is done. And when they do, you pay them.
Right. And the punch list is all the last steps that were missed, the little things. Oh, you forgot to do this, you forgot to do that, just to get everything buttoned up.
Yeah, because the contractor is going to be like, for example, I'll give you an example. They put a new roof on, but there's still shingles in the bushes.
Yeah.
Right? Or they paint a room and one of the pieces of trim got put on later and it's not painted. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you why. They only show up for the money.
Yeah.
Period. No matter how much they promise you, your friend, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Just let me know if you need anything else. I'll come back next week. I'm starting a job. I want to get that going. I'll be back. No promise you Tuesday. Yeah. They only come for the money. That's your only bargaining chip. Period.
You got to hold them hostage.
Period.
Yeah.
It's nothing about being nice.
And I'm not even saying contractors are bad.
No.
It's just that they're hustling. And that's how
they're trying to get money. They're trying to pay the bills. So it's a job. Check your hand to theirs when you're ready.
Number 7, allowing your real estate business to run your life. So, I got to get his name. Oh my God, I just went blank. Anyways, I'll get the name of that. Abraham.
Mel Abraham?
No.
Lincoln. Sorry.
His last name is, I want to say J. Abraham. Okay. He's a copywriter and a genius about business. Okay. So he says the only reason, and Dan Kennedy I think says this too, the only reason to have a business is to make money.
Yeah.
So just like you would buy a multifamily house or you would buy a piece of real estate to make profit. Okay, like when we were in the seminar this weekend, you kept talking about, I think, a realization you had about return. You remember?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Keep going. I'll see what.
An investment is when you get money back.
Mm-hmm.
Remember you were talking about that on Saturday?
Yeah, the cash in and the cash back out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about that like on Saturday when we were together.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, the purpose of an investment is to get something back. right? So the purpose of a business is to get something out of it.
Yeah, and the less cash you have to put in to get cash back, you're getting more per dollar in a sense.
Right. So your return is higher. The percentage is higher.
Yeah. Well, I could put more in. Why would you put more in? You put as little as you can in to get as much as you can out. And then whatever you have for money in your pocket, you can put a little here, a little here, a little here, and get more and more and more. So it's a matter of leverage, maybe.
So J. Abraham says the only way to increase income, income with a business, get more new clients, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, increase the amount of times they buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, your prices, raise your prices.
Mm-hmm. It's all on the income side, not considering expenses and reductions. That's another story. Okay.
Right.
More clients, buy more often, and have them pay more.
Yeah.
Got it. So keep your rents full.
Yeah.
Keep them sending their friends and relatives to rent more from you, and raise the price once in a while.
Right.
Okay.
Right. All right. Good. So when you do these things and you run your business correctly, and there's a bunch of people out there. I don't need to do this, but like work on your business, not in your business.
Mm-hmm.
All that kind of talk,
right,
is important because you should be getting a rate of return on your time.
Right. And if it really is a business, you should be able to go someplace and have the business run on its own.
Right.
Instead of I can't leave because you didn't make a business, you made a trap.
The little diner that we go to after when we go have lunch.
Yeah.
Right when we leave here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach that to her, but she's not listening. But I think she's finally catching on because they just went away for the third time in the past 6 months for like 3 weeks.
I was going to say that she has been leaving and the girls have been running it and everything seems to be fine.
When she went away the first time, I said to her, Amy, when you go away, here's what you need to do. And she's like, well, okay. Because I'm like, I'm just a customer, right? I mean, I really can't tell her how to run business. She goes, what's that? I said, if the deposits go up, stay another week.
Yeah.
If the deposits go down, come back and fire someone. If the deposits stay the same, then you're not far off.
Yep.
And obviously, she left and the deposits went up because she's one of those bosses that is in there doing things she doesn't need to be doing. And actually, the place runs better when she's not there.
I've been in businesses where the boss leaves and we look at each other. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's almost a sense of let's prove that we're worth something.
Right.
That we don't have to be bossed around and told what to do. We can do it. I can do it myself.
Right.
So that's what kids say. Mommy, leave me alone. I can do. So if you got the right staff, they'll just rise to the occasion.
Exactly.
Then you have a business.
So it's things like that. And J. Abraham has a great book. He has, just go look at J. Abraham, Google him. He's got some amazing books. I wish I could go get one. Could you go in behind my desk and there's a book there. It's blue and white that says J. Abraham on it, so I can give them the title of the book. All right, so let's move on. She'll get that for me. Number 8, over improving the property when doing a renovation.
Mm.
It's on the left side, Em. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Oh, it's not blue.
Just want to make sure it's the right one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got.
Mm.
Emma will put a link in the Facebook. So it's Getting Everything You Can. Let the video catch up, and I'll show it to you on video.
Your voice will catch up with it.
Yeah. Getting everything you can out of all you've got. J. Abraham. Absolutely. If you are a person that's a manager running people, or if you are just a plain business owner, this is a book that you have to read. Mm. This guy is just freaking amazing. Yeah, it's $12. Let me see if I can find real quick. I'm really diverting here, but because I got the book in my hand, here it is. So I'm going to read it to you because I actually did it backwards. So he says, I have good news. There are only 3 ways to increase your business. 1, increase the number of clients. 2, increase the average size of the sale per client. Mm-hmm. 3, increase the number of times clients return to buy again. Only 3.
Is that an actual sequence of the way it should go? Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought, I'd be happy with any one of those 3, but it's more of a sequence.
Only 3. It's significantly less daunting if you only have to focus on 3 categories. In fact, it's easy. Let's take a simple example. And then he goes through and he actually does math and shows you how it works. Okay, so if you get the book, that is on.
These things are not like, gee, how do you ever figure that out?
Right.
But we don't sit and think of those things. We're just trying to run our lives and just got to call my wife and I got to go pick up another bag or whatever,
Right.
But somebody sits down and is like, let me see if I can think, 1, 2, 3. And then there you are.
Right. So if you think about it, increase the number of clients, increase the average size of a sale, increase the numbers. That's our money now, money monthly, money later.
Oh, interesting.
And this is, if you get the book, it's on page 5.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, Bill, it's like physics.
Yeah.
The physics of life.
All right. So number 8, back to our list, over improving the property when doing a renovation.
You mean this isn't like a television show?
Right. So I've had a numerous amount of clients, women usually, that are renovating the house to their liking.
Their own specifications. I like. Yeah, you're not living in it though, huh?
Like, for example, I just told you about an apartment that I just renovated, one of my apartments, right? Because I have a bunch of those too. And they gave me a price of like $300 to clean it. And I'm like, I had a rug guy come in and clean it. And I cleaned it, but I did it myself, which was not hard. Right. I spent a couple Sundays there because that's what I wanted to do. Actually, it was a way for me to get away and actually do other things, smoking my cigar and, bring a can of iced tea, and I was happy. Right.
Yep.
My point is instead of replacing the rugs and replacing the refrigerator, I'm not like some slumlord or something like that. I mean, this is a nice little apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment.
You painted the whole thing.
1,000 square feet, we use Benjamin Moore paint, because we got a good deal thanks to one of our clients. I didn't chins out, right? But there are just certain things that instead of replacing the rug and trying to hide the smell, because it's not very much. It's only when you first come in, right? Because that place is like buttoned up, with the windows and everything.
Yeah, as soon as you start cooking... Yeah, it'll smell great.
The point is that I instead of replacing the rugs and overdoing it and trying to get my money back, I left them the way they are, and I just twisted the marketing a little bit to look for those kind of people. And all I did was just put pets allowed. Yeah, and it completely changed it. So,
there's a pretty reasonable percentage of people that have pets, a quarter or a third, something like that. So if you say no pets, you just cut that much of a person out of your market, out of your possibilities.
Right. Okay, number 9. Not doing the math correctly and running out of cash.
Ew.
So, point blank, bold, straightforward, as honest as I could be, I'm telling you that the A&E shows and whatever other TV stations you watch are lying to you. Their numbers are not correct, and here's the reason why. Every piece of real estate you have has a cancer. It's called holding cost. If you don't control holding cost, and what holding cost means, the definition of holding cost is this. You do not have income to pay for it, so you're paying for it out of your own pocket and you're getting nothing back. You're holding it until you get the payday. So if it's a renovation, you're holding it until you get the renovation done, and you're looking to get your big payday. If it's an apartment like this apartment, I mean, it's May. I've been at this thing 5 months.
Oh, because he wasn't paying. Yeah, not just to turn it around.
He stopped paying me in January. Right, so I went 2 months or 2.5 months getting him out, and then the rest of the time I'm like doing repairs, which is way wrong. I mean, the turnaround on this thing should have been a week, but it's just one of those things. But here we go. I mean, I did it correctly, and I did it the way I wanted to, and I actually I went up a couple $100 on the rent, and I'm not even I didn't go up enough.
Yeah.
I didn't get balked at all. So I'll get my money back. Okay. So the point is when you're doing your math, you need to make sure you have the holding cost included. Okay. And I can't go over that today, but there are formulas for that. It's not that hard.
And you're always also safer if you underestimate your income and maybe overestimate your expenses. Just if you're going to err, just go a little high on what you might get and a little low on what you might get and a little high on how much it might cost. Just be a little conservative in those numbers. Don't be overly optimistic and
right. But you can't be too much because then you won't buy the house.
No, it can't be unrealistic, but don't be over realistic because then you're in trouble that way too.
Number 10, overanalyze the property and the buying offer is too low now. That's what we were just talking about, right? So it's like you're not sure of the repairs, so instead of doing 30 grand, you'll do 40 grand, right? Because you're not sure. So we use formulas for all that stuff. We use so much dollars per square foot, and I actually go over that in the videos that I do on the flippinghousesrookies.com/free stuff. So if you want to see those, just go to the videos. Go down to I think it's the rehab retail video or the wholesale video, one of those two, and I go over. Yeah, Emma says they're the same video, so just go watch that. It's rehab retail, and I go over all that in there.
Okay.
So, you go check them out there. The point is that if you overanalyze the property, which most people do, you won't buy it. You just won't buy it, or it's a crude saying, but it says it directly. You can't steal property in slow motion. And I don't mean steal. I mean get a good deal.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like we just had a piece of property that we bought that I think I didn't even realize it. Actually, I bought the property. I made the deal with the guy. Then I called you. Then you came out the next day and we looked at the property. And you actually took me by surprise. You don't even know this because I haven't told you this. You actually took me by surprise because as you were leaving, you're like, Bill, you did a really good job buying this property. And I'm thinking, of course I did. But then when I looked back at it, actually I did do a really good job. I didn't do a good job. My formulas did a good job because everything I teach you guys, I do myself. So I just stick to them. I stick to the rules of thumb.
Right.
And that's all I did with this guy. I don't know any other way to put it. I mean, he took a shot at me a couple times, and I pretty much said, well, if you want this, then that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, another thing, I remember even in the beginning, listening to your coaching students when they're buying properties, and they would fret over, I had to spend another $1,000. Oh, my God. I'm thinking, this deal is like an $80,000 profit the way you have it set up. Of course, you're going to lose a few things here and there. Some stuff's going to happen. But the formulas have you so safe that the worst that would happen is you could break even. But that would be terrible. That'd be stupid.
Right.
But as a learning process, it wouldn't be horrible. But it's got enough room in it that if things wiggle a little bit, maybe you make 20,000 instead of 25. Isn't that horrible as you're learning? So the numbers keep you safe that way, too, from little bits here and there. Not gross errors, but, the usuals.
Good. So number 11. Ignoring the cash flow. Blinded by the equity or the money now. So we talk about money now, money monthly, money later. Right? So what happens is your mind gravitates to, on a lease option, well, I can get 10 grand for deposit money, and then I'll have $25,000 in the back end when I sell it.
Yeah.
And you don't think about the cash flow. Those two things will be like, well, I have a coaching client doing it right now. I can make $150 a month. And I'm like, because I've done this. I've had properties for many years, and for $100 or $150 a month, is it worth it? In the beginning, you'll say yes, but when you have a bunch of properties and you have to take care of it, is it worth it to have somebody call you and say, I got a problem? Number one. Number two, after a while, you're going to start resenting the property because you're not making any money on it. Especially when you get other deals that are making a lot more money, when they're making $1,000 a month. Okay? But probably the most vital factor is this. When you get a piece of property like that, okay? I lost my train of thought. That's the second time this morning. Wow. Too many things in my mind. So what happens is when you get a piece of property like that and it's in the mix, it kind of like makes it so that you kind of resent it a little bit.
Like you have properties that are cash flowing better, and this one isn't.
Right. So I just remember what I wanted to say. So when I have coaching clients, it's kind of like this. So I have a couple coaching clients right now that are working on $1 million properties, and payments are like $3,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what they got to pay the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to sell for like you got to rent for like $5,000. So on $1 million piece of property, that's a low rent. That's actually right. So my point to them is this: so you're making $1,500 a month. You get blinded by the cash. Because somebody that's not making a lot of money will think $1,500 a month is a lot of money. I could pay my mortgage with that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem: if your tenant doesn't pay the $3,500, how many months does it take to make that up? And the answer is 3.
That's right.
So you got to give back 3 months worth of profit if they don't make one payment.
Mm-hmm.
So is the $1,500 a month worth the risk that you're going to take?
Sure.
And only you can make that decision. Right now, you could hold some of your
deposit money
to be safe and all that kind of stuff. But when I go through this with my coaching clients, it's like, ignoring the cash flow, ignoring things about the cash flow, right? Because I'm doing both ends of the spectrum. The first one is ignoring the cash flow. Now it's like ignoring other things because you have cash flow.
Right. So if the cash flow is too low, it might be annoying. If there's too many expenses connected to it that can snag you.
Or the cash flow is really good and you got liability attached to it.
That's what I mean. Like there's extra expenses that could snag you even with a good expense.
Right. So you have to pay attention. So Ron LeGrand says it best, cash is king. So make sure that everything you do either doesn't take away from your cash or adds to it. So cash is king. Do not lose sight of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why it's there. Okay. Number 12. Are we good on that? Did I explain that? Okay, good. Number 12. Listening to those who have never bought property the way we do. So who do you take advice from? And I know we've talked about this on other podcasts and stuff like that, but truth of the matter is who are you taking advice from? Right? So here's the deal. It's straight up, blunt. Okay? If you are able to go to the bank and borrow money, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you had the 20% down that they're going to require, because if you're not living in the property, you're not getting a 3 to 5% mortgage. You were talking about that yesterday on a house we were looking at called house hacking. Bigger Pockets talks about that all the time, house hacking.
Yeah.
The BRRRR strategy, right? And what they're talking about is you buy a house, you put down 3%, you go in there, while you're living in it, you renovate it, and when you get all done, you either rent it or sell it, right? That's house hacking, okay? That works. God bless you. That totally works, right? It's a strategy.
You get a bunch of equity for your efforts, your sweat efforts, right. And then you can move on at some point and
it gets you going. But you're not going to do that forever.
Don't have to.
Here's the reason why I'm bringing that up is because if you're not doing that, then you're going to have to pay 15 or 20% for down payment. So if you bank qualify and you have 15 to 20% to put down on a few properties, then that's good. But my argument to that is this. Most people don't bank qualify. 81% as we're aware.
Right.
Most people don't bank qualify, and most people don't have the 15 or 20% to put down on a property. Okay? Or if you do have the money, which I've actually had a couple coaching clients, and they were the hardest to actually coach because they had the money. I knew how much they had because they told me, and it was a lot of money, and they're like, I'll just write a check. I'm like, no, you won't. Because if you don't learn how to make money without money, you won't learn how to make money with money.
Yeah.
You'll make bigger mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay? And it'll cost you more. Okay? So if you don't bank qualify and if you don't have 15 or 20% to put down, you need to absolutely have to learn creative financing, which is what we teach. You need to know how to buy real estate with creative financing, or go get beat up by the hard money guys, which if you have credit and 20% down, because they're going to require that. Nowadays, they're doing that. They're doing that more than they should. And when I first started, they didn't. You didn't need any of that. As long as you stayed below 70%, they give you all the money. Nowadays, banks are actually becoming hard money lenders in disguise.
Yeah.
Right? So they have branches and they allocate millions of dollars, and they're actually going out there and doing that. So the difference between a bank and a hard money loan is the bank is lending on credit, past credit, and
Personal credit.
Hard money guy is supposed to be lending money on the asset, and they've muddied those waters up too.
Yeah.
You ever hear of brackish water?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like salt water and fresh
fresh
water
they're mixing. Yeah.
It's kind of like brackish water right there, okay?
Yeah.
That's what that is. So it's a bank, and they're kind of mixing things, right? Stay away from those if you could.
Can't drink it, can't float in it.
You can't do anything, right? So if you are one of those people that can't qualify or don't want to qualify for a mortgage and don't want to use 15 or 20% down, then you need to learn how to do creative financing, which puts you into either one of two things. Either you're buying ugly houses and borrowing hard money or private money, and you're negotiating that part, plus you're negotiating the sale of the house, buying the house, plus you're negotiating with contractors, plus you're negotiating to sell. There's a lot of negotiating on there, and there's a lot of talent and a lot of moving parts. It's the hardest way to do it. Or you could buy and sell pretty houses, which we talk about all the time, and you're just negotiating the sales price and when you're going to pay them, how much and when. It's money now, money monthly, money later, right? So the punchline. Number 12, listen to those who have never bought a house the way we do. How many people out there do you know that talk about, and I'm proud of this, I don't know about you, Peter, but we're on episode number 148.
Yeah.
All we talk about, we don't have guest speakers, when I say we don't sell anything, of course I'm telling you about my courses every third show or something like that, but it's not our purpose for being here, right? All we talk about is creative financing. All we talk about is buying and selling pretty houses, how to talk to your seller, and how to be a creative investor. That we have 148 shows. I beg anybody to go find somebody to have what we have. Go find a podcast that has 148 shows on the same topic with the same two guys. We don't have commercials. We have no paid advertising. It's 100% funded by me. It's 100% your time, my time, right? Our education. It's 100% for free. I don't know anybody that's doing that. So the reason why I bring this up is because not to brag, but to make you realize that all we talk about is creative financing. If you do not or cannot qualify for a bank loan or down payment money to go buy real estate, this is a place to start. There is a shit ton of information on this podcast that will help you with that. But you need to learn it. Whether it's from me or anybody else, you need to learn creative financing. And to learn creative financing, you're going to have to spend some money. You're going to have to read some books. You're going to have to figure it out. Or just listen to our podcast and go do some of the shit that we're talking about and learn it the hard way. You are going to spend money for your education. It's either going to be through ignorance or through books and tapes and videos.
Right. Guess which one is cheaper?
Yeah.
Guess which one is faster?
So I'll get off the soapbox. So listening to those people who have done it, you can't just go listening to your realtor. You can't go listen to your attorney or your closing agent, because I promise you, just test them. You want to test any one of them, just ask them, have they ever set up a trust before on a property? Just ask them, is there such a thing as assumable mortgage? And they'll tell you no. And yet I'm doing one right now.
Sure.
Right.
Well, for better or for worse, it's not that they're trying to be negative about it. It's just if somebody knows one thing, that's what they do. That's what they do.
They don't know what they
and they
don't
have
know.
to be right about that. They can't go around saying, I know this and I wish I knew other things and I don't and I'm stupid or ignorant. They say, I do this. So how are they going to advise you on something else?
Good. So number 13. We're almost done. Number 13. Oh, we're past our hour. Number 13. Thinking that the math is the only qualifier. And honestly, I could tell you this is a whole show by itself. But thinking the math is the only qualifier, not considering emotions. So what happens is I get coaching clients in, and one of the mistakes that I make is that when I do, if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff, those videos will show you how to mathematically make offers. And one of the things that you will notice about my strategies at first is no matter what the seller says, I have an offer.
There's something you can offer.
Right.
We could do this. We could do that.
And that's cool, except that it hypers your confidence, like builds up your confidence, and you think that no matter what they say, you have an offer. So you're
you have
halfway
an
there.
offer.
You're halfway there.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't mean they're going to accept it.
What are they willing to do?
Yeah.
Right? What emotions are involved to it? What are they going to do when they go? Why are they selling? There's a whole bunch more to that other side. So my belief system is this. You close them, and that's such a harsh word, I hate to use it, but you close them or you get them to agree to sell you their house based on emotions. And then mathematically and logically back it up. Right? So all the math in the world ain't going to do you crap until they decide, A, they like you, they trust you, the deal's for them. You're emotionally satisfying their pain or their problem or their situation or what's ruining them or however you want to call it.
Well, in their mind, they're thinking we have to sell the house because I like to say it this way, and you've repeated it, but at some point they decided we have to sell the house.
Right.
I try to find out, when did you decide to sell the house? Yeah. And what happened? And it'll kick in like what happened. Their thought process is they have some problem they're trying to solve or just something that they want to do.
And it became the solution.
Yeah, and they say they want to do that. If you don't know what that is, how do you match up something that'll accomplish that? But if you know what that is, if that's what you're trying to do, I could do this or that, and then you'd get there. And you'd be much closer to an agreement then.
So the punchline for this one is this. When your plan matches their plan, you buy a house. So if you don't know what their plan is, you can't match yours, and your plan is not set in stone. It's developed and put together based on what they're telling you. So when you're collecting data or information and you're ready to make your offer, you've asked enough questions that you know how to structure the deal. Because they're really structuring the deal for you. All you're doing is organizing it and giving back to them in a manner that they can say, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And when you could do that, then you've got to do
Well, they think you're a genius, too, because that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
If you listen.
Right. Number 14, not getting a mentor or coach. Even Tiger Woods. They were talking about, what is his name? Magic Johnson, basketball player.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson. They were talking about him at the smoke shop the other night. About his coach. Right? Here's the interesting thing. Has Magic Johnson's coach ever played basketball?
I hope he has somewhere.
He hasn't.
He hasn't, really?
Yeah. Tiger Woods, his coaches.
No.
Right? So mindset has a lot to do with it. Right, mindset. I mean, Tiger Woods is especially now, he's proven after all his trouble, he's like, the President of the United States just honored him some award for his success. Agree with it or not, it happened.
Yeah, it goes to athletes, so it isn't for
right.
Didn't save the world, but athletic accomplishment.
So when I mean coach, I mean somebody that's, see, to me, a coach is someone that helps your mindset. A mentor is someone that's been there. So they're different. So coach is keeping your thinking straight. A mentor is more like, here's what I've done in the past. Here's how you should do it. I've been there, done that. So they're different to me. Okay. And I've used both. I consider myself a mentor. Although I can help you with some head stuff, I'm mostly good at, I've done so many damn deals and I got so many stories that you'll trigger something and I'll tell you, here's what I did. And too many times I'll be on the phone with my coaching clients and they're like, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you. But I had this happen to me one time. Let me tell you the story and I'll tell you what I would do. And very often they'll be just like, oh, that makes sense. I'll do that. But sometimes I can't answer the questions and I'll just tell them, here's what I would do if I was you.
Yeah.
And any one of my coaching clients will tell you they hear that all the time. Right? I do that with you. Make sense?
Of course.
So to think that you are going to do this business without a coach or a mentor is just one big fat lie. You're not going to do it. Or if you do it, the expense and the amount of time it takes you is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, but that hurts too. That's painful.
Yeah.
It's like telling somebody, oh, don't bother go to school.
Right.
Why do you go to school?
Right. Yeah. Why learn how to read? Why learn how to do math? You know what I mean?
Why hire a tutor? A music teacher. Why bother?
I know someone like that. That's a 20-year-old kid that didn't go to school, didn't go to high school, didn't go to middle school, right? Didn't go to school.
Wow.
and to watch him it's heart-wrenching because common things that he should know, he's completely oblivious to. You know, and I tell this to my kids all the time. The reason why I read so much is because if I'm on a topic, like buying oranges, buying cigars. There's one, buying cigars. I want to get as many opinions and viewpoints of other people that have bought cigars as I can. That's why I read so much, because I'm looking for other people's experiences. And people like me write about that stuff, right? They write about their experiences. That's a purpose for it. And if it's not in writing, it's not true. I mean, I'm not saying everything I read is true, but the point is that, like this podcast, they come and go, but, in 50 years from now, my books will still be in print, or they'll still be in circulation. They'll be on a bookshelf somewhere. They don't go away. Yeah. Last one, number 15. Thinking, and this is absolutely what I hear way too often, and I don't even try to talk about it anymore. Thinking that you need to find a deal to pay for the coaching or the mentoring. I hear that often. People come to my meetup, and I'll be like at a free consultation, and I'll be like, people have deals. Like I have a realtor that joined my coaching group, right? And has a deal. Has a big fat deal, and something happened to her son, and she sent me a notice yesterday saying that she's got to drop out of the coaching. I mean, she has a deal. So now I'm going to get on the phone with her, and I'm going to be like, where's that deal? I'll buy it from you. Because she has a deal. It's a big fat monster
deal. And she won't know what to do with it.
She doesn't even know that it's a big fat monster deal.
Oh.
And I've told her, but she hasn't, the pinball hasn't lined up yet. You know what I mean? The ball in the pinball machine hasn't lined up yet for the flipper, so she can make like the big score. Right? So
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I just do a couple of surgeries. I don't go to medical school.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, so these are the most common things I run into. We ran a little bit over, but that seems to be our way lately. So 15 costly mistakes real estate investors make. I think we've covered that. I think that that if you heed some of our advice today, you'll make sure you don't hit the pothole and ruin the suspension on the car when you follow our directions, because we're going to tell you where the potholes are, and we're going to tell you to watch out where the kids jump in the streets when you're driving your car, when we get to give you directions. So I think that's it. So flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. There's a lot of stuff there, obviously free stuff. That page has become very popular because the stuff that we give away on there is actually what most people would charge for. Just the videos alone. I mean, those videos could be a course in themselves. And we give it away for free because we want you to do deals. So go out there, do what we're talking about. Send us a support ticket. If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, on the top page, it says contact us, and I answer all those support tickets. Okay? Till episode number 149, which is our next episode, we're over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.